What's going on, you guys? It's Zach back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about maintaining hope, maintaining a positive mindset when things get challenging. Now, for those of you that live in the United States, today is November 1st. That means the presidential election was yesterday, last night, and it is going to be something that is going on for the next couple weeks as the absentee ballots get collected. On top of that, things are getting cold. I live on the East Coast. Many of you live more north. Many of you live in other countries where things are significantly colder during the winter than they are here, and so you understand the impact that seasonal depression can have on pretty much anybody. So I've had a lot of requests on creating videos and creating content just on how to maintain that positive mindset, how to focus on the good when things get challenging. And so this is the first video in an iteration of many videos that I'm going to be talking about, these concepts of mindfulness, positivity, and keeping the hope in general. Now, in this video, I wanted to give you guys kind of 5 really powerful steps that you can take to increase your sense of positivity and increase your, ability to focus on hope and not let the external world bring you down when there's a lot of things going on, because inevitably there are always going to be a lot of things going on, but it's really up to you to maintain that inner state of positive mindset, balance, and expectation of a brighter day no matter what is happening. The first step I would say is really to have a deliberate strategy. Now, the first and the second step kind of go together, but it's important to understand that when you are trying to program your mind a certain way, you need to stick to a plan. I think a lot of people understand generally what makes them feel good, hanging out with friends, working out, eating right, listening to good music or doing art, other mindfulness activities that really jive with you. The thing is, they do it, on a one-off basis. They might do it, every other day, a couple times a week or something, but they'll find that even if the next couple hours is really positive, they spend time investing in, positivity, and there's that, residual effect, right? Well, the next day is going to come around and they're just going to be back to the humdrum, occurrences of life, right? Going to school, going to work, filling out their obligations. And for most of us, our regular obligations often have this kind of negative connotation. I think all of us have examples of friends and family that, don't really enjoy their work and they're complaining about their work, but they still go because they know they have to get paid. And it also probably gives them some degree of feeling of purpose. Your mental health is the exact same way. You need to have a deliberate strategy to follow. And the more that you, do this, the more that you invest in your mental health and your feeling of overall well-being, the better you'll feel and the easier it will be to get to this place of a general sense of balance and a general sense of contentment. This is going to lead into step number 2, which is having a routine. Again, guys, program this stuff every single day and you will see the results compound. Your mental health is just like your physical health. It's like a bank, right? You put money in and, as that money builds, or the stock market, as that money builds, your interest gets more and more. The payout that you receive every month becomes more and more. And so your health is the exact same way, your mental and your physical health. The more of an investment you're putting in, the bigger the dividends will be in return. And so if you have a routine, you're guaranteeing time every single day to feel good. How many of us are, sure that we know exactly in the day when we are going to feel this sense of absolute contentment, absolute ability to let go of the external world and just be ourselves, just focus on what it is that we really love and focusing on helping ourselves feel, in an A1 state of being. Very, very seldom do we have that. Very few people actually have that. And so having a routine kind of guarantees this, and I recommend that you have a morning and an evening routine. Those are the times when your brain is the most suggestible and you can tell your brain, hey, this is how I want to feel and this is how I want to feel on, a consistent basis for the long term. Now, what your routine is going to be is really up to you. There's no one size fits all. I think there are general things that can, go across the board and work for most people, but if you're interested in having somebody work with you to build a customized routine to help you maintain that positive sense of well-being onwards and forever for the rest of your life, let me know. We can have a free consultation and I'll help you walk through that stuff and we can build that together. The next step, I think, is to focus on vision. I think a lot of people don't really have a sense of the long game in life. I think we're living in a way that is very reactionary to our environment. There's a structure called the Robert Dilts model, and for those of you that watch Joseph Rodriguez's channel, I'll put a link in the description. I highly recommend you check his channel out. He talks a lot about the Robert Dilts model and how it is a positive, how it is a really powerful tool for changing who you are in relation to what it is that you want to create. So the basic idea of the model is that at the top of the pyramid, you have vision, you have identity. At the bottom of the pyramid, you have environment, and then you have things like values and beliefs, capabilities, thoughts, feelings, and actions in the middle of this pyramid. Now, it's my perspective that the majority of people live their life in a reactionary kind of reacting to the environment and building themselves up from there. You know, the vision comes after the reaction to the environment, where what we really should be doing is, you know, keeping our vision top of mind and then building our life from there, and realizing that the environment is simply a reflection of our identity and what we consider to be our overall purpose. Now, when we can do this, the world becomes a little bit more of a mirror, and we're able to realize that, hey, everything is just a reflection of what is happening within myself. And the more that I can go within and focus on what it is that I want to create, the more the world is going to show me that on the external. This also allows us to overcome blockages, detours, anything that's going to come up along the way that could potentially slow us down and hinder us, instead of reacting to those things and saying, hey, this information is proving to me that I can't do this. Instead, we realize that, you know, if we focus on the vision, those things become a little bit smaller, those things become a little bit less significant, and all the little issues that are going to come up along the journey are just part of that journey. We're able to perceive it a little bit more as data rather than, you know, being disempowered by it. Next things next, you guys, realize that at any given moment you are having a mental conversation, and for most of us that mental conversation is very passive. We just kind of let it happen. We think, you know, this is just the way things are, and our mind is just processing. But realize that that mental conversation can be going however it is that you want it to be going. And I think this is kind of the biggest secret when it comes to manifesting things, is that people want to do visualization, they want to do, you know, states akin to sleep and practice affirmations and all this stuff to program their subconscious mind, but they don't realize that after they finish those techniques, you still have a huge chunk of your day that you're having this mental conversation at any given moment. And so this step is really about realizing that and then recognizing that you can change that. And so the first step is to become aware, you know, realize that conversation is happening, and then be a little bit more critical and say, hey, look, I don't want to be thinking these things. And I know that my mind and consciousness is making everything happen around me. And so I'm going to be a little bit more deliberate in shifting that conversation. And it is really tough at first, and don't let my limiting beliefs get in the way, but it is a pretty challenging endeavor to start to shift this entire conversation in a direction that you want. It requires you to become really conscious and, you know, really diligent about shifting those thoughts, but the payout is infinite, really. The payout is anything that you want to create in life. And so this is just a quick plug to, you know, notice those thoughts. Don't let those thoughts rule you. Become somebody that is willing to be deliberate about their thoughts and understanding that it is some work up front, but in the long term, if you can have a completely empowering mental conversation, you know, you have taken yourself, being the most powerful entity in your existence, and turned yourself into your best friend rather than your biggest adversary. And, you know, the results of that are totally up to you to conceive, but they're infinite. The final tip is practicing stillness. I think a lot of the time when it comes to talking about mental conversation and, you know, realizing that this monkey mind, right, Hanuman, as many people call it, is going to be throwing you limiting beliefs all the time. And when you're trying to program yourself to change into a more positive, enlightened, you know, empowered version of yourself, this mental conversation can, you know, be very disempowering. And so one of the best ways to help yourself allow that conscious mind to take a back seat and bring your subconscious mind forward to be suggested and, you know, influenced in the way that you want, it requires you to be still. And so things like meditating, things like just, you know, closing your eyes and breathing, all of these things are methods that you can use to practice stillness. Some of you really enjoy painting, drawing. Any kind of mindfulness activity is going to bring you stillness and allow you just to find that state of peace. And remember, guys, creating the life that you want is not about reaching out and bringing something into your space. Creating the life that you want is really about letting go of the disempowering beliefs and rising to that state of an enlightened being that you naturally are, right? And so when we practice stillness, it is a natural, you know, practice of letting go. It is oftentimes really challenging for our conscious mind to take that time and say, hey, you know, I'm just going to be still. I'm not going to think about anything. I don't have to do anything. I'm just going to take this present moment and be with myself. That is a super powerful technique, you guys. And you know, again, all of this stuff it needs to be practiced consistently. It needs to be done on a daily basis. And if you're able to do that, you will see massive payouts. And so if you want some help with this stuff, let me know. I do offer coaching, and you can find out more about that in the description. But until next time, I hope this video was helpful. Comment what you thought was most useful. Comment if you have any videos that you want me to do in the future. I love getting recommendations, and it really helps me to make more targeted content that is, really resonant with you guys, because that's really why I make these videos in general. So without further ado, like this video, subscribe to my channel. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.